Hello, this is Muhamad Usman. A good information governance can lead to good management, and a good management of a business can lead the business to its growth. In today's training, I will discuss about information governance guidelines for retail industry on using social media. I will start from introduction, which mainly covers the purpose, expected audience, and objectives for this training. I will then discuss about the challenges retail industry is facing while using social media. Then I will highlight some risks in different areas and post some guidelines to avoid and mitigate those risks. At the end, I will discuss about a framework which can be implemented for continuous improvement in avoiding and mitigating the risks in this sector. So let's set the role. The main purpose of this training is to guide the audience from retail industry on how to effectively use social media. And yes, it is a security awareness training which talks about social media norms. The training material and this presentation consolidate the risks and mitigations associated with the use of social media in the retail industry. The stakeholders from the retail industry can be the audience for this training. But after a thorough analysis, we have identified some key roles that can be the expected audience for this training. These include mainly the owners of retail industry, the businesses, the IT managers, the employees, the managers which are specifically taking care of social medias, and the franchisee. The difference between owners and franchisee is mainly that franchisee usually have a model from his franchise which he can adopt to use the social media. But in case of an owner, he usually have to come up with his own version of using social media, like maybe some of his own guidelines. The training has been designed keeping in view the following objectives. After the training, the attendee will be able to understand the basic principles of information governance. He will be able to recognize risk practices of using social media. There will be a little bit of information about information and what are the laws which are associated with the use of social media. And then he will be able to recognize the risks and apply some guidelines which are being taught in this training. And then he will be able to distinguish between the poor practices and good practices of using social media. Retailers are the endpoints from where the customer directly buys the products or goods. This whole supply chain starts from the manufacturer, which after manufacturing the goods sells it to the distributor. The distributor sells it to the wholesaler, and then the retailer gets it from the wholesaler and sells it to the end customer. Some main sectors of retail industry has been described in the training material, which is the report. More and more businesses are adopting social media to expand their businesses. So as the retail industry. Atherton writes in his article about information management in retail sector that the retail industry stores and users and owners are using social media to convey their information regarding latest products, their latest offerings to the end customers. Mainly the networking sites are being used by retail industry to reach their customers, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Some other social media platforms that are being used by the retail industry and some other industries are given below table that highlights the social media type. There are some examples and the content type that you can share on those platforms. According to Ramanath, the retail industry is using social media to have the following outcomes. The most important is listed at the last, which is social media reviews. They want to attract more reviews so more and more people can talk about their business and they can attract more customers for having positive reviews. Other major outcomes are having customer loyalty. They're just to show their online presence so that customers can see them. The whole idea revolves around having more customers, which can ultimately lead to more profits. This slide highlights the information and the law which is available regarding social media. The main type of information which is really important are the customers, personal details, and the public opinion. Within the Australia, these two bodies, ACCC, and Office of the Australian Information Commissioner has stated some laws which can be referred to in the training material. In the next slides from here on, we will talk about the risks and guidelines. This slide explains the challenges faced by the retail industry while using the social media. So let's head it on, starting from the first one, knowing which social media to use. In the previous slide, I have shown you that there are many social media platforms that can be adopted, but the question is which one to choose. So it's a challenge for the retail industry on deciding which one is best according to their business. Then increasing your reach through shares. There are a lot of media types, specifically different media types, depending upon the platform which you can share. So it's a challenge for the industry deciding upon which media type is suitable for their business. Then going next is the answering all of your customer answers. On social media, every customer has a freedom of speech and they can write anything. For example, they can give you positive ratings, they can give you negative ratings. For both the ratings, it's really important to appropriate both of them in appropriate manner. The next thing is pushing your content to the next level. So while you're interacting on the social media, your ultimate goal is to promote your content, to have a maximum reach, to have an organic reach. So it's really important to know like which media to use and how you can promote them to the accurate audience. The next thing is mostly some social media platforms and some industries, some businesses, they use robots for replying and doing their activities on social media. So if they are using robots, so their response should be humanistic. It should not sound like robotic and it should not be felt like robotic. It should have the human type in that one. So it's a challenge to have that response and give the consistency in that one. The next thing is engaging in regulated industry. So if there are competitors, so how you can regulate among all the things, or you can regulate among all the rules and regulations. So it's really a challenge in this industry. While specifically when you are on a social media, which is really big and it's open to a lot of audience, so it's really important to protect your um, niche over there. So then comes the turning of your employees to your brand ambassadors. This is really important. For example, on the social media, there can be there can be your employees as well, which are communicating with your customers. So they should not sound like they are being uh, overacting on the customers and things like that. So, but they could be turned into good brand ambassadors, which can promote their your brand actually. So the last thing is while you are doing each and everything to have your image intact to promote your business, but how to measure everything, how to measure your rate of investments. So this is really important. It's a challenge to like how you can calculate these and how to formulate your policies and formulate the guidelines on how to react on that. From this point onwards, we will discuss about information governance risk factors which are associated with the retail industry while using the social media. We have categorized all these risks according to their impact on the businesses into different categories. For each category, we are explaining the risk description, their impact factor, and the guideline and the strategy to avoid or mitigate those risks. After describing all these categories, we will highlight some general guidelines for some general risks which are associated with the use of social media. So considering this one, the business risks, for example, all those risks which can directly impact your business. So considering the very first is inconsistency among various platforms. As I have told you that there are different platforms which you can use. So any inconsistency, for example, the price is different on one platform and it is different on the other platform for the same product, it's gonna hurt you on the social media. People are really uh, finding the things which have inconsistencies and they can troll you. They can directly impact the repute of your business. So for that one, the strategy could be that you should have information governance strategy in place for your organization, for your business. So by following that strategy, it would be obvious that everything that has to go will have some kind of background checks, and using that strategy, you can minimize the risks or avoid those risks by having that strategy. And by following those strategies, you can avoid all those kind of risks which can just be uh, negative for your business. Then there are customer expectations. Yes, the impact would be high, and it could directly impact your business. For that one, what you can do is like having periodic improvements. Maybe after some time, you can review all your strategies and giving them reshaping or reintroducing new things which you can adopt to mitigate those things. Then there are personal risks which are associated to your businesses, and especially from the point of view of the data of the customers which you have. For example, from the social media, you have the customers' data, you can access their accounts and you can access their videos and other sort of stuff which is available on the social media. And once you are interacting with them, so it is also your responsibility that from your point of view, from your premises, that data or that personal information should not go further. And these kind of risks can be avoided more specifically by having the consent before using it. For example, if you have to quote one customer's positive reviews at some other place, so you must have consent from that customers that okay, I'm using your this thing and the other thing, and this could solve these kind of issues. Then there is effect on human resource. For example, I have told previous in the previous slides that there are challenges on controlling your human resource, your employees. So that thing can be mitigated and avoided using training of your employees. Then there are brand risks. Some of them to highlight here are timely communication. You should respond. There should be a timeline, time frame that okay, within the 24 hours we have to respond to each and every comment. Then there is one thing that you are only commenting on positive feedbacks but not replying on negative feedbacks that could have a low impact. But these kind of things can be improved by giving training to your staff, by giving training, by having training on how to using the social media. And then there are like changing of social media accounts. You're continuously changing your social media accounts. It's not a better practice. This can be this the impact can be medium, but it can be improved using periodic improvements and communication within your team, and having a clear strategy like how and when to follow, when to change your accounts if you have to. Then there are obviously technology risks. These are beyond your control, such as malware attacks, spam, phishing, but these can be controlled by implementing better technology and security principles. Oxley have explained these general guidelines for using social media accounts by the retail industry. The very first thing which should be in place is your social media policy or the strategy, like how you will be governing all those issues if they arise in social media, and how you will be controlling them in the first place. Then obviously the training is really important, not only for the person who is directly interacting on the social media, but also for the other persons. For example, for your employees who are not directly handling the social media but using them, you can enhance your brand image. Then obviously you need to have some sort of approvals before posting anything to the social media. It's really important. Before, without that you can't control the things. Then obviously you need to have proper technology, proper setup which is suitable for you according to your business. It shouldn't be higher or lower, but it should be according to your business. The last thing is having a framework. For example, in this framework, there is IT strategy, which can be continuously improved using the demoning cycle, plan, do, check, and act maybe after some periodic time. And then that strategy can be aligned to the vertical units such as technology, processes, and people using controls. So you need to define information governance controls for these pillars, and the overall strategy can be aligned on these pillars may and can be reviewed after periodic timing. I hope these guidelines will help you to align your social media policy and you can focus on your business all the time. Please refer to the training material, which is the report, for further details on any of the topics you would like to. Thank you.